Hey, good morning. It's Tuesday, September 25th, and Dr. Bob Flower with your Master Pattern Report. A couple of things we're going to go through right now. First is some interesting charting information, which we're putting up on our website. Um, these two particular charts that we're going to be looking at are the S&P and silver. And let's talk about silver first, because that seems to be of prime interest to most people. Silver, as of late last week, hit a topping point around that $34 level, and it has backed off, and will back off here for another week or so, maybe 2 weeks tops. The next move, as you'll see on the chart, there is no resistance once it breaks through this 34.30 level until it hits around 37 and a quarter. And that's our next shot. We think we're going to see 37.25, certainly before the end of October. After that, we're looking at somewhere in the low to mid 40s, November, and December. We feel that we're going to be looking at $50 to $55 silver. Of course, we may be looking at oil prices of the same magnitude, even though oil is backing off pretty strongly here. Okay. The next is a chart with the S&P showing some pretty strong resistance at around that 1460, 1463 level, and the same scenario here. Only we don't think that the S&P is going to make a significant breakthrough. I know a lot of analysts are saying, "Oh, this thing's going to hit 1500 and whatnot." Hey, anything is possible, but certainly from our charts, it does not look that way. It looks like we are going to get a fairly significant back down, maybe 100 points off of this level within the next 2 months. And of course, politically, if Obama wins, I think you're going to see a real heavy shot downward. If Romney wins, we think it'll rally into the end of the year. But then when reality sets in as to what's going on and where things are, we're looking at a cascade here of downward moves. It's interesting to note that silver, most of the metals, silver, gold, copper, the S&P and the dollar have hit a peak all together, and that they're all acting pretty much in the same way, except that the S&P is definitely trying to make this breakout. But here's the thing, it's rallying because of this $40 billion a month that's being committed, which is, in effect, another talk. That's what is that? $500 billion, another $500 billion added within the year. This reality is countering the positiveness, so to speak, of the $40 billion a month. And that is causing a lot of chaos and confusion in the market. So it looks like we're going to be we're going to have a lot of mixed signals. I mean, the market is very sloppy, very unpredictable, and we think it's really going to depend on who or what happens in November. We think it's going to go down. In November. That's what our indicators are showing. And how do we get to those indicators? Well, I'm going to show you something that we use that's quite fascinating regarding the master pattern and trying to predict trends and patterns. Okay? This little device is what we call our universal oversight. And what this does is we take a series of patterns over whatever period of time, a month, 2 months, 6 months, intermittent. And we have different levels here that we insert these different, with transparency, so that they overlay, okay? And then on top, and there's 5. Then on top, the 6th transparent that we place over is what we call the master pattern. And the master pattern, as it's presented here, is, let me talk about that first, is a combination of pi, phi, and what's known as Euler's number, okay? For those of you who are into the charts, pi is, of course, 3.1415, phi is 1.618, and Euler's number is 2.71828, right? And we harmonize those. In other words, we create a singular pattern which is totally harmonic with those 3 numbers. We use that as our overlay and look down on and see where those 5 underlying patterns, how they relate to the master pattern. The one that's closest to the master pattern is where the one that we follow and use for our predictions. This is only one way that we use to make our predictions, but it's very powerful, and it's helping us more and more get the direction right. And you notice that we shifted to individual stocks, and we'll be talking about those next week. We haven't had the time to do enough research on individual stocks, and that whole scenario is running much better for us, right? Because we sort of have other experts, right, analysts, giving us their feedback about where they think these individual stocks are going, and a lot of times it's easier to follow the individual stocks than it is the entire market. So on that theory, we're doing very well, and we look forward to being able to assist you guys, our audience, in understanding and making direction. So with that, again, I just want to say that silver or gold, whatever, looks to be backing off. We're still long. We're not shorting here. There may be a 2 or 3 point drop off, but well, not 3, but maybe a 2 point drop off here. We're in this to stay long. We think that there's a lot of money to be made here. We think that that this whole thing with our economies is really a push for the gold standard, which is being fought horrendously from all quarters of the world, with the exception of Switzerland rather. But we do think that eventually we're going to have to go to this, and even if it doesn't come from the leadership by the United States, okay, there is talk that believe it or not, China and Russia and a couple of other countries, India and Brazil, are talking about creating a standard of commodities with a new replacement for the dollar. Okay, and I know that's not news, but the news is that they're seriously considering using commodities as a backup. Okay? This would devastate the United States markets and put them in total economic power. Although Russia and China are having their own economic problems that will be accelerating here very soon. Okay, the charts, the silver and the S&P, will be going up on our website, www.masterpattern.net. All right, and for those of you who are interested in our behavioral comprehension analysis program. We're still offering that. You can take the test at www.drbobflower.com. At drbobflower.com. Free of charge for the next 30 days, right, Jan? Yeah. Okay. All right. Have a good week. Next week we're going to have a couple of stocks for you that we think will be good for our portfolio. We'll see you then.